Hello again, this is Marcus from Free Fork Web Agency, and in this tutorial playlist, we are focusing on building a WordPress website completely locally, and if requested, I could actually show you how I'd set this up on your actual on your actual production server, where it's actually going live later on. But in this video, we're going to pretty much go through some configurations, and I'm going to offer some of my feedback initially on what I like to do. But let's begin. So if I go to our installation right here, the migrate site, when we first sign in, here's some just example, just the default information that WordPress starts with, and I typically just remove this. I mean, I'm so used to just doing stuff on autopilot. I mean, just anything on the back end, maybe removing this, or holding on to this. But if you want to set up some demo data, depending on your theme, if you're not using a theme or if you're developing it from scratch, I would definitely encourage you to Google WordPress dummy data. I believe that's the right terminology. I haven't used it recently, but there's a theme unit test that you could actually install right here. There's the download test data, where if you downloaded this, it's an XML file, and if you download this, you're able to import it. It has a lot of good, as far as the mock-up and semantic data, it's got a lot of ways for you to be creative. Like it just has pretty much every kind of element that you'd be using if you're developing themes, or even if you just want some content, so you could sort of see the production of your website, see how everything might look, if you had some data out there. So I definitely encourage you, if your theme does not, remember I mentioned that I am using the Avada theme, but if it doesn't have demo data, then I would definitely encourage you to use something like this to have some starter information, rather than just the hello world, so you can really test your website. But let's go into the dashboard right now, and one of the first things I like to do is set up the permalinks. And remember, that's within settings, permalinks. And right now our default is pretty much just this P is equal to 123, so nobody really knows what that means. I mean, your client would, or whoever is viewing your website, really would not know what that means. It's not specific. So this sample page right here, it pretty much says just page ID is equal to 2. So it's really ugly. It doesn't. What we're ideally looking for is something like this. Sample page. So it has whatever the title you're giving it. It's being used as the URL, and it makes it a lot easier than memorizing numbers. So I mean, I think for one thing, it really helps the client, your prospective user. Whenever I refer to client, I'm really referring to any users that are viewing your website. You want to make it as easy as possible for them to share your information. So your settings, go to permalinks and change it to pretty much any of these. I typically go with post name, because that's just straightforward. Whatever title you give, it just keeps it very, very simple. So I'm going to use that. And in fact, I honestly, recently I've been trying to change these bases as well, the tag and category base. Maybe I change the tag to keywords, this maybe to topics. And pretty much what that means is when you create post, you specify, you have different categories that you can assign these to. And categorize means that you really haven't given it a name. It's just a general category. If I wanted to change that to general, which I typically do, then you could change it to general, or even articles, or whatever categories you want to assign them to. And I could add more. For example, if I had a category that consisted of poems or whatever, I wanted to add a lot of poems, I can do that. And pretty much what the slug means is that's the friendly URL that we mentioned, the permalink. So I could actually, it doesn't have to be poems like this. You could actually give it something more. If you really want to be more specific, you could say like poems category, or I have no idea, honestly. Whatever one you think is the most appropriate, and you pretty much have this. So if we were to go to post, we can choose to add that potentially. So that's pretty much the setup for that. So we definitely want to use some kind of permalink and get that enabled. I mean the post name right here. And let's see here. So another thing that you should also consider is specifying within the reading where your front page and your post page I guess are to be set up. And what I mean is when you set up WordPress initially, when we go to the My Great site, it defaults to post. It pretty much defaults to just a blog. And so what that means is all the posts that you're adding here, it's going to pretty much add to the home page. So I'm going to just do example right here, example post, example content, and if I add this, it's going to go directly to the home page. Now we have another post. And for me, I typically don't like doing that. If I'm actually working with a business client, I really want to have a home page that may have a snippet of the recent post, but specifically has some information that the user could understand a lot more, not just some general content. I mean, I really want to make it so they fully understand what the business is about. And so I may have a slider, I may have some bullet points, some basic features that my business client offers, and so forth. So I typically do not leave a default. And so what I'll generally do is add a page that is set as the home page, like this, and leave it like this. And ignore this because this is really irrelevant. When we assign that to home, it's going to just go like this. It's going to leave it like that. And also, I would also keep in mind, whatever theme you're using, there might be themes that have a specific template, and you would be able to I'll explain this later on, but you would be able to specify, if it's a special home template, you're going to want to use that in most cases. But now let's add another page. No, actually, let's rename the sample page. Let's just go into the edit and click sample page. Let's just name this as blog, and let's just click edit right here. And again, remember, you can change this to whatever you want. If you want to leave it sample page, you can. I typically just click the delete and press OK, so it automatically does it for you. You can do that. And then also, on another note, when you're adding content, you have two different modes. You have the visual and the text mode. And so this one actually shows, it makes it a lot easier. If you don't know any programming whatsoever, this makes it a lot easier to make changes. Like right here, these are two block quotes, and which have that little that little border right here, and that's why it's pretty much this right here. If I were to disable that, then I could just pretty much double click it like that. Now it's disabled, and all I have to do is double click it. And let's see here, there's underline right here, and that's pretty much just because there's the link right here, which is going to the admin area. And that is pretty much it. Like if I wanted to bold, I can use Command B, or I could just click B right here to bold. But I typically just work within the text area, but I'm just going to remove everything because this is all completely irrelevant now because it's the blog page. This pretty much should be blank unless the theme has some specific area that you want to mention some content describing this page. But so we have this blank. Now let's go back to setting reading. My bad. Let's click reading. Now let's click a static page. We select now the home and the blog. And let's click save changes. And really these you don't have to really mess with. If you want to limit the blog pages, the amount of pages you want to show on the blog. So let's just say we know we have 2 posts. Remember that? So we have 2 posts. So let's click 1 and let's see where that brings us. Let's go back to My Great site. Let's see here, My Great site. Oh, there we go. And as you see here, this is the home page. So let's go to blog. Oh, my bad. You see that there's only 1 post, and it has this 2 here. That means that we can go to the second page. So I mean, if you really wanted to just have 1 page, per, I typically like to set at about 5 to 10. It really depends on on your excerpt, how long you want to make your content. And actually, I want to share a neat trick with you real quick. There's a website called Lorem. If you just Google Lorem Ipsum, there's a website called just Lipsum right here. And if you click on that and click Generate Lorem Ipsum text, you can copy this and use it just for demonstration purposes. It's just text that you can use that just makes it more visually appealing. At least you can sort of see how the website would look. So I'm just going to change this one real quick to another post, and there's the quick edit right there. And what I just did right there is I pressed delete and just press update, and what that automatically does is will fulfill this. I mean, it'll actually fill up the slug just like that. But let's add some example content here. Let's just copy this. We have some example content. Let's go update, and let's go to the example post and add some example content. And the neat thing about working locally is this is a lot faster. You're going to notice immediately, and so it makes it more convenient. So if I click view post, we have some more content to work with. And it shows the two posts. If I go to blog, we're going to actually have some excerpt text. And excerpt text is this stuff right here. Well, this one actually doesn't offer it, but depending on your theme, you can find a way to only show a portion of your text, maybe to like right here where it says learn more. And there are a couple of plugins that we might look into, but let's go into the features. I think I'm going a little too off the subject right now of what I wanted to explore. So I typically set up the permalinks like we did, and the general you can specify a tagline other than just another WordPress. So keep that in mind. You could change the date format, if you have anything specific here that you want to use. Same with the time format if you want your week to start on a specific day, because you could access this information. You could share this to your users, to make it, it would, if you want to use any of this, like the specific date format, and this also ties in with the blog too, like right here, the January 27th. So if I were to change that, this will naturally change to that specific format. And also another thing is we have this general tag. If you click on that, that shows all, it pretty much goes to the category. And remember, we changed that to topics. So now it's showing these two, everything that's associated with this category. And that is about it for this video. I think, actually I'm gonna go into a couple of these things real quickly. I just wanna show you the user settings. This is mine, my setting right here. Showing my email and pretty much just information that could be used for the author of a given post. So if I were to view this post, and if it were to show the admin or whoever the author is, and I just use admin for right now, it would show that. It shows all my posts, and depending on the theme, it may show my summary, like the biographical information, the website, and so forth. And you can actually change your nickname by just going to, like mine, Marcus Lane. I can change the display name to Marcus Lane, like that. And if I were to update this, this will update to Marcus Lane. And same with all the different posts. Like if I were to go to here, it would show, let's see here, like this. All right. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. And again, this is Marcus from freefork.com. Have a wonderful day. Thanks.